Yeah. Well, so I guess here's where I'm at. I don't think Viv is gonna be understanding, and she already wasn't. So, I've talked to Jenny. I've talked to her about it and stuff like that.
Yeah, so did
No,
I.
you're your own person and stuff, so you're not the same as Viv. But yeah, obviously, listen, I'm a criminal now, and I'm doing criminal things, as you know.
Yes,
And
I do know that.
yeah, it's I mean, I guess the best way to put this is, nothing's ever going to be personal. I know you might have to do your job and arrest me, or, engage in a shootout, and, I might, do the same on the other side, but nothing's ever going to be personal between you and I. So, I guess I just want you to know that, and, understand that, things are going to go on your side, and things are going to happen on my side, and I'm not asking that we, keep the topic of conversation at times where we engaged in you arresting me or me fleeing or you shooting and getting shot, anything like that. We can keep the topic away from that, but at least that it's nothing personal.
Listen. I know the situation that you're in was not of your own choosing, so I cannot sit here in an ivory tower and cast judgment down on you. Nor do I want that.
Yeah. So I mean, this life chose me, I guess. So it's it is.
I understand that, but I'm not even like, listen. I was never under the impression that you were gonna leave PD and go fucking work as a lawyer for the rest of your life, or go drive Group 6 trucks. Like, I'm not an idiot,
Yeah.
That's not a realistic expectation. That's not a fair. Like, I am in no position to tell you what to do, right? Just point blank. I will say, if in the spirit of being honest, I was certainly surprised at the speed in which you picked up your criminal activity. Which again, I'm not standing here trying to judge you for it. I'm just speaking honestly, okay? It's kind of hard to digest that from my perspective, if you get what I'm saying.
No, I get it. I mean, you're used to having me as your partner for years, and then I got kicked to the curb, and
yes,
my life changed ever since then. So
I understand.
But I probably could have lasted a little bit longer doing lawyer things and more legal stuff had I not had the first arrest happen, where I was genuinely actually unlawfully arrested. I'm not sure if you know the whole context of like where everything has happened or not.
So this is one thing I did want to talk about, at least, right? If like, obviously, like you were saying, if you're arrested and shit's happening, like I can't treat you any differently than everybody else, right?
Yeah, I get that.
But as you know from being, riding with me and us being partners for a long time, if fucked up shit is happening and dumb shit is happening, that I will listen to that. That if something bad happened or someone's not doing their job properly, I will take that information. I am not.
I get it. You'll still hear out the information and stuff, but there's only so. I mean, I know there's only so much that you can do. I mean, unfortunately,
right,
some of the problems, aren't gonna, like there's already like lawsuits and stuff like that I'll have a lawyer against these officers, but we don't even need to go that route if they just want to. I mean, listen, if it was just all handled differently by some of the people who I've dealt with or the PD, then it would be more. There'd be less frustrations and anger with members of the police department. I mean, Denzel is literally one of them. Denzel, Wade Bradford, Riker, these people are like, coming up to me and doing, they've pretty much just done me wrong so far. And, I'll take it on the chin if I've been arrested and stuff. And, obviously I'll try to argue some charges here and there, but these people are just not like, they're not approachable, nor do they ever give off the vibe of being approachable or wanting to be talked to, you know? So it's like when these people
no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. There's also, you do like, and I'm not saying this is the case, but this is something that you saw firsthand as a cop, right? There's also a difference between police doing something wrong and something happening to you that you don't like, right? Like if people are actually violating your rights, if people are doing shit that they're not supposed to do, like I said that, like I encourage you to take it to court. I encourage you to civilly sue officers. And if the DOJ decides that they're fucking up, then I hope they award you money and I hope people are punished. And like I said, I will take all of this information and I will go and I will look into it and I will make sure that these people are punished if they're fucking up. I don't fuck with cops who go out there and do stupid shit. Period. End of story.
Yeah. Well, I listen, I appreciate that. And I know, you know, listen, I know you're going to do everything you can. Sometimes it may come down to the point, though, where, you know, you've done everything you could and ultimately nothing will be able to happen because, you know, ultimately it'll come down to the command or high command above you that will, you know, decide whether or not to happen. I mean,
well,
they've
knows?
already
Maybe
explained
I'll get
that.
command soon.
I mean, remember what'd you say?
Said, who knows? Maybe I'll get promoted soon.
Well, that'd be at least someone in the PD who you know, deserves a spot and that will actually do something. So
Or maybe I'll get demoted. Who could tell?
well, yeah, I don't know if you know the full context, but let me ask you a question here. Let me just ask you a blatant question. If someone was arrested with a gun and there was no
someone already asked me this yesterday. I know what happened. No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't GSR test them?
Without shots fired, no, I would not. You know that.
Okay, so do you believe that, as you know, from my perspective, do you believe that seeking a GSR test with no reason to actually conduct it is an interest in looking to stack on extra charges? Like, does that not sound like, from my perspective, that it appears that someone is just trying to get as many charges on me as possible, and, you know, isn't the whole goal is like not to come off that way?
I agree that you could see it that way. I would also want to talk to the person who did that and find out what their rationale was.
Denzel Shiesty, I asked him. I said, why are you GSR testing me?
I'm talking about me. I'm talking about me.
Yeah, well, I mean, he said his sole reason for conducting a GSR test was, quote, because I possessed a gun. I said, so there's no shots fired, there's no dispatch, there's no reason to believe that I ever used this gun or discharged it. And your only reason is that I just had a gun. And he said yes. And, you know, that is concerning because this man Denzel was in an FTO session with some Goldie lady, and I don't know how the hell this man's an FTO. I mean, I guess you guys have, you know, the PD or whoever's above you has decided to make him.
There's a new department now, and
well, he's an LSPD, so I mean,
no. I'm saying the new department has opened up, and people are, you know, making their intentions known of, you know, who they want to have above them.
Yeah, but, you know, I guess what I'm saying is, how the hell is he an FTO and he's teaching people that? Do you think that's a problem? Because the problem is, like, these people are like, people already hate Denzel. Like, Denzel has already done so many.
Is there a cop that anyone doesn't hate?
Yeah. Yeah, there is. Opal's a good example.
You mean CG Opal?
I mean, is that what you guys call her?
I'm pretty sure she called herself that.
Maybe you guys should just, you know, maybe the other officers will add the chain gang tag to her, you know, just because.
But you get what I'm saying.
Haley
right?
Maxwell
like,
is a good one too.
Yeah, Haley's great, absolutely.
You know, funny how all these people are part of the old Davis PD.
Yeah, pure coincidence. Pure coincidence.
But the problem is, like, and it probably Denzel Shiesty has pissed off so many people. But the thing is, nothing's gonna happen to him because he went into a high. Did he not go into the meetings? They've told me about this, and he came out and he got promoted.
I'm
like,
Suarez, you are preaching to the choir. I had the same stance on a lot of these things months ago.
So it's the Chief's fault then, because he's the one who's, allowing all this.
Well,
I mean, he's the only one to blame,
honest,
right?
I'm not blaming anybody because I don't even know what's going on, to be
Well,
honest.
that's the bad thing, though, but
we're in our own bubble right now in shift 1.
Hatch, you think of the prime. Yeah, but you don't know who to blame. I mean, at the end of the day, when the football team goes and, plays their games and they don't win, they fire the coach because he's in charge. And then
you're not wrong. You're right. You're right.
The chief is responsible, as much as, it may not be his problem here and there, like individually or, whatever. It's on him to make sure that things are handled and done right, and he's just not doing his job. Or either that. I mean, how in the world is he going to go into that meeting and then come out and get promoted? How in the world is this man going to be, conducting DSR tests with the interest to stack charges when the whole goal that Barrick said he wanted was someone who, a police department that was going to be good with the community, and it's literally the exact opposite right now. It's literally the exact opposite. So Barrick needs to, figure the fuck out whatever he's going to do, because his whole alignment of what he wanted for the police department is not happening. And I remember having a meeting with him and Corwood and Denzel when, they were campaigning and stuff like that. And he asked me what the problem is, what's the way to fix it?
For what?
Sheriff.
Oh, okay. So this is the reason. All right. I thought you meant chief. I was like, it was a long time
And
ago.
he's asking people what should be done, but why is he? I don't know. There's not much more to say other than the chief is at fault here. He's the one. He's you treat it as a football team coach. The coach is always gonna be responsible if they have a losing season or they mess up or they do bad, and they're gonna fire the coach and find a new coach. And Barrick needs to figure out what the hell is going on, because his whole alignment as to what he wanted for the police department is just, being fucked over by several different officers, and, frustrations are being built up. I mean, if I've only been dealt with like 3 times, and I've gone through this, and I couldn't imagine what anyone else who gets arrested on a day-to-day basis might go through with these officers, and it's ruining the community relations that you want with the police or with the the community out there, at least from my opinion. So
well, okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you think every grievance that somebody has with the police is valid or invalid? Like, do you hear people say certain things and you disagree with them?
So far from what I've been told, hearing their side, I haven't necessarily disagreed with what they said. I mean, I've had people, I don't know.
Okay, keep going.
I mean, I've had people explain their grievances and their frustrations, and I mean, listen, as someone who was a cop and understood, very clearly, very well the cop side of things, it's been very eye-opening to be a criminal on this side of things than to feel what they have been dealing with. I mean,
so when you say what they've been dealing with, what do you mean?
So let's just start. I mean, for example, let's just take into consideration. Let's go just one random thing so far. What about the hut charges, right? So for example, I served 3 days in jail, and I only ever got 1, and no judge pretty much was responding to the bail, even though I broke out and all that. But I had waited 3 days, and there was no
breakout,
no chance of bail.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would you give you bail if you were harboring a fugitive who was a murderer terrorist?
Hell yeah.
Why?
So here's what needs to be understood, Malcolm, is like, I'm spending days in there, and you got to remember that we live in Los Santos, and we got to remember that someone could be sent on a hut charge, and the trial could not be scheduled for 2 weeks, and they might not get bail for 1 week, but then they finally get the trial, and they get sentenced to 1 day. But they've spent 2 weeks, 2 real weeks in the prison awaiting this. When in actuality, it should be a catch and release like drug trafficking. Make them show up to court. I'd be more inclined to use the DOJ system if I actually didn't have to sit in jail. I pretty much felt forced to sign a plea deal when I would be happy to go to court and do that court session with the judge and involve that. But
For
if I had done
harboring charge,
that,
you mean, or for other
yeah,
stuff?
for harboring, I would have been
Okay.
happy to take it to court and do all that. But I had to sign the plea deal, because if I didn't, I would just go back and spend days more in jail before even the possibility of bail even happened, before a judge even, accepted the case, and then scheduling happened. And at the end of all this, let's say it all comes down, I end up spending like a week in jail, if not more. And the judge, I do all that, and I show up to court, and I get sentenced. Let's say I get found guilty, and that would be fine. I get like 1 day, and I just wasted pretty much 9 days of my life, where I'm pretty much gonna be in a prison, and probably just not waking up. Like,
Okay.
you see,
So you're
you see
talking
what I'm
about
saying?
you're talking about your specific hut charge.
In my scenario, yeah.
So do you not think that harboring a murderer terrorist should have implications where you spend like an elongated time in prison?
Well, at least go to court, and we can sentence me or find a plea deal or something. But I do not believe that, in this scenario, sending someone on a hut charge that would have lasted like a week or two just to be sentenced for an asking less than that. Like, the sentencing they were asking me was three days. 3 days in jail.
Was that when all the accomplice charges were still?
Yeah, that's with the
stacked on there?
accessory all
Okay, but
charges.
They dropped accessories. They dropped those, right?
And they dropped it for the plea deal.
Okay.
And that was, with everything, they were asking 3 days. And what I'm saying is, I already had served 3 days. Basically, the sentence they were asking
For your
and
72-hour hold, you're saying, okay.
Yeah, and basically, like, I've already served 3 days, and I haven't even gone to trial yet. I haven't even got to file my charge yet, but I've already served my sentence. I've already done all the time, and I could sit there and wait on a hut charge and not plead guilty, but then I just end up spending days more, if not at least a week in there, before I get maybe bail. And why would I do that when, I have a plea deal here I could sign for 1 day at time served and, get out? Why would I spend days more to fight a court case or to have it go use the DOJ system?
Right. And so it sounds like a lot of these issues are not with PD, they're with DOJ.
There are some issues with the DOJ, yeah. And I think the biggest one is, in my opinion, and you can feel different about it, but I believe that any sort of like capital level crime, drug trafficking, should be treated kind of like drug trafficking, where you're on a catch and release.
Do you think murder is the same as drug trafficking?
They're completely different things, but I think they should be treated differently. I think they should be treated as like getting a catch and release and getting to show up to court.
You do not actually think that someone who does terrorism and murder should be catch and release?
Unless
Brother,
this case was scheduled within,
unless,
well, here's what you're hearing though. Like, if murder was 5 days, which is what the judge ended up sentencing them for,
okay,
and someone goes on a hut, and that case doesn't get scheduled within 5 days, they've already served their sentence for what they're asking for, 5 days, but they wait longer.
Twice.
What now?
They broke out of prison twice.
Yeah, but I'm saying, as anyone else who would have gone to jail for this thing, maybe they don't break out.
And
Maybe
they
they end up
got
spending
time served.
Maybe they don't end up spending, or maybe they don't end up getting to break out of prison.
Listen, I agree that things could be streamlined better. I do agree with that. But if we're sitting here and saying that people who were found guilty of murder and terrorism were somehow done wrong when they broke out of prison, not one time, but 2 times, and then went on the run, were somehow done dirty.
Let's change the scenario here. I'm asking.
Subscribe to this specific scenario. I disagree.
Okay, I'm saying that people will end up going on a hut charge and serving their sentence before they even get their day in court. Do you think that's a problem?
If they get time served, no.
Okay, but what happens if the time served is 10 days, but their sentence is always only 3? So they ended up spending an extra week in jail.
I feel like you're coming up with a hypothetical that hasn't happened.
But I'm telling you that in this scenario, I had already spent 3 days, and I hadn't even got a judge to take the case yet. No judge had taken it. I know for a fact I would have been in there for days longer.
So you're saying it was posted on the docket and no one had taken it yet, and you were in there potentially longer than what your sentence would have been.
Yeah, I was already
Okay.
the docket was up for 3 days and no judge took it. I had served my sentence, and at that
Did you
point,
get offered a plea deal before, or you wanted to?
I
go
got
to
a
court
plea
and
deal
fight
yesterday.
It either way. Okay. So
And
in your specific instance,
any
you feel
food?
like that was. Oh, fuck, I don't. I'm sorry. I have bandages if you need them.
I'll take a couple bandages.
Yeah, here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're. No, listen. I understand the point you're making about your instance. I get that. The other stuff, I'm not going to agree to any of that. Just period. End of story.
And that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to force you to, change your opinion on how you feel on things.
I mean,
but
can I ask you a question?
Hmm?
Remember 5 years ago when we fought that war against Sanguine?
Yep.
Do you think we should have caught and released all of those people and waited for them to go to trial?
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Brother, it's you and me here, okay? I'm not going to repeat anything you say. You don't have to go down the rabbit hole. We're not in the cells.
I don't know, because, I mean, things were a little bit different 5 years ago, and, we're at a new age, I guess,
Well, I mean, did they all get treason and terrorism, or just treason?
I don't remember.
Some of them got terrorism for sure. I know that. And they served 30 days and they seem fine with it.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but I think we have to base off of the moving the city reopening, and not off of the 5 years ago timeline, because people had millions of dollars back then. People didn't really care back then too much. If they had served time, they served time, whatever, because it is what it is. But I think we got to look at things in the new age of things in the city.
I think you were probably also hurt by the fact that your accessory charges and the initial charge was attached to people who were actively still on the run.
The problem is, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You could disagree with me, but charging someone accessory,
I don't know
6 days later,
the charges. I can't.
I'll just give you the TLDR. Basically, they were charging me for accessory to 6 days later.
I know that. I know that. I know what you're saying. But you do realize what the argument would have been, right?
What? That technically he's correct, and technically he could press the charges?
Well, not technically, literally. You are an accessory to that individual escaping from the charges that are being pressed on them.
You're right, but when have we ever decided to press someone like that? Just because technically you're right doesn't mean that the PD should do that. Just because they can doesn't mean that and I agree with that.
I agree. Just because you can doesn't always mean you should. I do agree with that. Listen, I am not disagreeing with every single thing you're saying. I feel like I'm being more in the middle about certain things than you are, to be frank. I find it very hard to believe that you actually think that someone who goes and murders somebody and then shoots up an entire city council meeting and then shoots 26 cops should be put into jail, processed, and then let go until their trial.
What do you do though if they serve more time than they were being asked for?
But they didn't.
I know, but I'm just saying in the scenario that, let's say, like, it's another it's a different person,
I'll tell you this. I guarantee that their trial would have been scheduled faster and gone through faster if they hadn't broken out of prison multiple times. I guarantee that.
Maybe, man. I guess it's always a possibility. Who knows? But
listen, it's not a possibility. It's a certainty. Listen, I know we're going to disagree on this for obvious reasons, okay? you don't need to purge every rational brain cell that you had when you were a cop because now you're a criminal. Okay?
I haven't. It's been I know you haven't experienced everything. I know you won't, but it has been a lot different in my experience so far. I mean, just think about it. Unlawful arrest, then, right.
I'm not saying the shit that's been that has happened to you is not wrong.
And but the problem is like, I've only ever been arrested, what, 4 times? And, like, it's not like it's not like I've been arrested 100 and I've had 4 incidents. I mean, these are my first arrests, and I've, dealt with this my first 4 times. And
well, not every time.
Not every time. Well,
I mean, one of your arrests was yesterday when we were chasing you because you were on the run, and another arrest was you helping someone who was a terrorist murderer run from the police.
I'll be honest, I don't think there was any sort of rights violated. However, yesterday when Denzel processed me was just, it never seems like so far I've had an arrest where there hasn't had something where either a violation of rights happened or some like shoddy police work is being done, such as GSR testing just because I have a gun. Like that was what happened yesterday.
Shoddy, or is that just?
It's just stupid. Why? Okay. That's just seeking to stack charges, which should not be the goal, to stack as many charges as possible and fuck up as people's lives as hard as possible. That should not be the goal.
No, I understand, but brother, you remember when you were a cop, right?
Huh?
You realized people complained about you nonstop, and I was standing right there next to you when you weren't doing fucking anything wrong.
That's probably because we arrested a lot of people. That's also I got too many quota points, so yeah.
Right, but you're standing here.
You see where I am now, right?
Right, I understand that. I'm empathizing with you though, saying the same people would complain about you are some of the same complaints I'm hearing now.
You've got any complaints that I was violating people's rights?
No, I'm not.
Or
that's not what I'm saying. I used to hear people in the cells go unhinged on you about the way you were doing your police work, and you were doing fuck all wrong.
Maybe I was doing something wrong. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was.
You weren't.
I don't know, man. Maybe I did. Maybe that's why I'm here.
Well, we don't need to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I promise you, I was standing right there with you.
All right. Well, needless to say, you can not expecting you to, sympathize with everything, and I'll understand you got to do your thing, and I got to do my thing, and that's fine. But at least I just want you to know that nothing's gonna be personal.
That guy running from the cops? What the fuck was that?
What was that?
Did you see that guy?
No.
Some guy just ran into the back of the fucking house.
Okay, dude.
Hello?
Yo, Suarez.
What's going on? I'm about to hold up Nekkoda and stab him.
Oh, wait. Can I be there?
No, it's a little more personal. I gotta handle it. Well,
could I just show up afterwards? Ping 1068 and then
hold on. It's not a good time,
yo,
man. Right?
I mean, bro, come on, dude. What do you mean if something happens?
It's okay.
You're gonna be like, oh my God, Tugs, there's like cops. Okay,
no, it's gonna be fine.
There's a. What do you mean you're gonna stab a cop, dude?
Yeah, I'm about to stab him right now. I gotta call you back, okay? I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
No, yeah.
All right, hands up, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, listen, I'm gonna finish with this, okay? You're my best friend, and that will never change, no matter what. I will never use the position I have as an officer to actively fuck you over in the sense of like lulling you into a sense of security and then using my position to like get insight into anything. I promise that.
Okay.
And I would hope that you can make me the same promise. I know when we're out in the field and shit's going down, that's completely different. When we're in the cells, it's completely different. But I'm never going to call you and try to angle you for fucking anything, ever. And I swear on DPD.
Okay, you don't gotta swear on all that. That's fine. Listen, I appreciate you. All right, and you're one of the better officers that the police department has. It's a shame there's not more. But I'll probably call you, and if you actually want to hear out these complaints and stuff like that, I mean,
hopefully you'll call me to hang out too.
Yeah, to hang out. Okay. I mean, yeah, maybe. I'll probably be busy doing crime. But you know.
Today?
Yep. Well,
I'll put you on another hut, so we can hang out at the jail.
Hopefully not. So,